The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 20th day. Actually, it's the 21st day, of July 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the daily hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we're able to pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamel Hartman, and we'll have a news break from Simone Vaughn in a bit. How's everyone feeling today? Happy Monday. Happy first day back at work for those who work the traditional Monday through Friday. We are a day closer to Bermuda's biggest two-day holiday on the calendar. I mean, arguably, local holiday. You've got Christmas and Boxing Day, the other two-day holiday. But hey, this is our summertime. This is our summer party. This is our day. How's everyone feeling? I hope that when I speak about people not loving Mondays, it's not you all. I hope everyone in the audience on this program loves Mondays, because what's there not to love about us getting together after 2 days off? What's not to love? But I'm excited to be back. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful weekend, a safe weekend, and is happy to actually experience another Monday. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Ywione Darrell on. We're going to be discussing another academic journal that he and his team are putting together. Love to see it. Academic journals take a lot of research, a lot of work. So really interested in seeing how these young folks are going about doing this. The daily play is Bermuda trivia today. So it's cup match trivia. So we'll pick something out of the cup match questions from Bermuda Trivia, the card game, and we will test your knowledge. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Also, come see us this Wednesday at Medical House. Yes, Wednesday at Medical House, July 23rd. We'll be there from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We'll have giveaways and more as we get you ready for Cup Match 2025. We're going to be giving you money as well. Well, not all of you, some of you. Whoever arrives first will get the opportunity to have some spending cash from us, all right? So check us out this Wednesday, July 23rd at Medical House between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. as we want to reward you for supporting us. All right, let's jump right into it. So as you probably heard over the weekend, the opposition leader, Ywione Richardson, has resigned. Yep, he's resigned. He resigned. I think, I don't know. Bermuda, you don't seem that interested. I didn't see anyone really talking about it on like social media beyond like the news posts. Like people just didn't seem interested outside of like maybe some older PLP supporters like saying "I told you so" and that kind of stuff. But question of the morning: what are your thoughts on Ywione Richardson's resignation from the One Bermuda Alliance, and who do you believe should take over as OBA leader? Who do you believe should take over? Not who do you think? Not who do you think will take over? We already know how you feel about that. Who you think will take over, right? But who do you believe? Who do you believe should take over as the OBA leader, right? But what are your thoughts on his resignation? Are you surprised? Are you shocked? I'm going to just go to our friends over at the Royal Gazette. And, the story that they've shared is, he, Jarian Richardson, soon to be former leader, said that a new leader of the One Bermuda Alliance is expected to be elected in about 7 weeks after the announcement of his stepping down from the role. The party said that he will continue to serve as the MP for Paget West, constituency 23, but will no longer be leader of the opposition from September 6th. Um, Mr. Richardson said, leadership is not a reward, it is a commitment and an action and a responsibility. And I'm happy and proud to have served in those ways. This resignation is a deliberate handover, giving an aspiring new leader uh, leadership team the time to form and build on what I built and what was built before me. He said, as exhausting of a journey as it was a worthwhile journey. I'm honored and I'm privileged to have done it. Um, you know, he's right. You know, I know a lot of people aspire to be leaders, right? But it's not easy. I say it all the time. I wouldn't want to do it. I Activism is draining enough, and I know my space. Politics is a more controlled form of activism, right? If it's activism at all, but it's like having a board of directors that's not appointed. So props to him for that. But I think the questions are going to be asked, and this is why we're discussing it this morning. We are discussing what are your thoughts on Jarian Richardson's resignation from the One Bermuda Alliance, and who do you believe should take over as leader? And this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure Trucking. Suzanne Ingham says, super awesome Monday, Jamel, and a super awesome Monday to you as well, Suzanne. Michelle White says, good morning to the H via LinkedIn, and good morning to you over on LinkedIn, Michelle White. Sean Smith says, has he resigned or he not running in their upcoming election? No, he's resigned as opposition leader. He's resigned as opposition leader. The goal is to give whoever the next leader is the time to get them ready for a next general election, which I think is actually fair. That seems to be the goal. But whether or not he runs in the next election, that's neither here or there. But at this point, he'll continue to serve as an MP. WKD Lama says he wasn't impactful and will not be remembered. Bring back Dunkley. But Dunkley's retired from politics altogether. But yeah, I see your point. Kenton Trotz says, good morning, TDH family. I believe it will be Douglas DeCudo. In the coming years, it will be Dwayne Robinson. All right. Who else, audience? Douglas DeCudo definitely has, over the last few years, made a name for himself, been very engaging throughout social media platforms. He's been very vocal in the Senate and now the House. Probably wouldn't be a bad decision. See, the problem with the One Bermuda Alliance is that they're in a tough spot, right? Because their best leader may be a white person, but politically, for some reason, well, we know the reason, they may not appoint a white person because of optics, right? We live in this day and age where optics is more important than doing what you probably know is in your best interest. So while Michael Fay or Scott Pierman or Douglas DeCudo may be the best for the job, they probably will go for like a Ben Smith, who seems like a safer pick because of optics. That's a shame. It's a shame. Because I'll tell you what, when the Premier of Bermuda, David Burt, steps away next year, I guarantee you, if Zandy Silva wanted to be Premier or leader of the PLP and in turn Premier of Bermuda, I don't think people are going to react like, oh, well, he shouldn't be Premier because he's not black. So why are we doing that this person can't be Premier because they're not black on the other side? And I get the history and so on. I get it. Trust me. I had a friend of mine just say this weekend, and he's discussed it with the PLP for years. But he's just like, man, the OBA scares me. This is a 40-year-old man. Said the OBA scares me as a government. And I think that's why the OBA possibly will choose optics over who might actually be best to serve them in leadership. But what are your thoughts, audience? Forget me. What are your thoughts on the resignation of Ywione Richardson as the opposition leader, leader of the One Bermuda Alliance? And who do you believe should take over as the OBA leader? Isaac Foy says, morning, he probably wasn't being heard. He said it was exhausting. He didn't leave politics. He's just like, if you're not listening, you do it. Yeah. I don't think, in truth, I don't think people tell the truth when they leave. I don't. I don't, and it's like leaving a job, right? They say, you don't want to burn bridges per se. So there are a lot of people who leave jobs and think, let's use, I'm sorry to use them, but it's an easy example. But let's use the Bermuda Tourism Authority. 30 people leaving over a 2-year period, right? How many of them really spoke up publicly or said anything? You feel me? So I don't think when people leave, they're going to be honest and say exactly what all transpired, because we live in a space where there's confidentiality agreements, NDAs. We also have people who actually respect the organizations to a point where they choose the organization over, self or over community, however they put it. But there might be some meat to what Isaac Foy is saying. He probably wasn't being heard. It was exhausting trying to get through or get over. But as some have said, he's choosing his family first this time. And that's something as well. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. These are people with full-time jobs. Politics, well, for some, let me take that back. For some, politics is not their full-time job. So they're literally working 3 full-time jobs: family, politics, right? And then they have a career. Again, some. Kenton Trott says, thank you for saying that, Jamal. Too often in Bermuda, optics takes the place of the best decision. Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe it's high time for Bermuda to start choosing the best people to lead them. Look, let me be very clear. This is who I am. This is how I am. I'd love to think that more of us are evolving and maturing to this space. But you all know how I feel about DEI. I don't care for it. Because I believe man, woman, black, white, I'm going to hold you accountable. The problem is people around me, we like people. We allow our feelings and emotions to attach to people, so we don't hold them accountable. We protect them. And while protecting them, we don't even realize they're not protecting us. What they're doing is self-preservation, taking care of themselves. Because I tell you what, you all know me. I don't delete tweets or Facebook posts. You could go back years. Dr. Brown, Madam Paula Cox, Craig Kennener, Michael Dunkley, David Burt. They all got consistency from me. It was consistent. None of them can say I favored the other or treated them worst. It's consistent. That's what we need. It's not hard to hold people accountable. You just have to choose or put others before yourself. When I was in Cub Scouts, they said, put others before yourself. Unfortunately, we've allowed our politics to get out of hand where it's not like that. Audience, what are your thoughts on Ywione Richardson's resignation as the leader of the opposition? And who do you believe should take over as OBA leader? Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, I agree. That is a shame. I hope both parties pick the best leaders for Bermuda. We deserve and need it. Yeah. It's said that Charles's comment is more hope than reality, though, right? That's sad. Isaac Foy said, well said. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, probably Mr. Ducudo. Mr. Robinson is young, but will be good down the road. I'm not sure why Mr. Fay, although he has experience, I think Mr. Ducudo will probably be it. I think Dr. Douglas Ducudo gets it. So what I mean by he gets it, if you told me the best 3 or 4, let's say Ben Smith, Michael Fay, Scott Pyrmon and Doug Ducuto. Douglas Ducuto is probably the best choice. And I'll tell you, because he engages beyond politics. Douglas Ducuto goes where people are. He's on Twitter. And I'm not saying you need to be on social media, but if that's where people are, he goes there. He's not afraid to get into this. He actually kind of is a, next generation Michael Dunkley in that respect. I'm not trying to tell the One Bermuda Alliance who to choose. I'm simply saying he's the one that actually he's not forcing himself to engage. He actually feels comfortable in those spaces. And then there's Dwayne Robinson, who obviously is in those spaces and puts himself in those spaces. But I'm going to push back against Suzanne Ingham. I don't think, Sir Alex Ferguson, when he built Manchester United, it wasn't based on spending money. It was based on youth. He said, quote, if they're good enough, they're old enough, end quote. So don't give me, oh, well, he's still young. No, if he is good enough to be elected, then he's old enough to lead. You all may disagree, but personally, I am not electing any person. I'm not voting for any person that I don't believe can lead. Dr. Anthony Richardson says the track record of the OBA while in government, a bad one, scares the majority of Black Bermudians. This means they cannot vote for the OBA. Yeah, and that's something, I've said it before. I listened to the House a couple months ago, and I came on this show, and I said, I listened to the House of Assembly, and I was pretty shocked that in 2025, the One Bermuda Alliance still doesn't know how to respond to race. When the PLP brings up anything race-related, they don't know how to respond to it. Black OBA, white OBA, they don't know how to respond to it. I'm not sure if it's PR, marketing, or coaching, or what, but they need something in there. Maybe they need to recruit a Mark Bean, or they need Omar. There's something. Someone who's going to be honest enough with them to get them to, one, you know what? We are attached to the racial legacy of this country, but here's what we're doing to fix it. Okay, yeah, this was something we were attached to many years ago, but this is how we believe we can address it. The One Bermuda Alliance scares people because they've never, in many people's opinions, again, it's a new party, but it still has that legacy attachment. I don't think they've confronted the issues that some have. And while you may think, well, that's older Black Bermudians, a lot of younger Black Bermudians who benefited from the fight that their parents fought still hold these things, and it scares them. I'm going to sit here and be honest. Like Michael Fay, he may have meant well, but he scared the living daylights out of a lot of Black Bermudians. So seeing him, and with the rhetoric that comes from the likes of Chris Famous and other Black MPs in the PLP, it holds weight. And they have to find a way to respond to it. Whoever replaces Jerry and Richardson has to put, there's finances, education, crime, but you have to put race at the forefront. You have to. That's the difference between winning an election and losing an election in Bermuda. It's been proven. This last election, Bermuda's struggling economically, education, crime, healthcare. It's struggling. But the number one issue you never see in polls, race. We've got to confront it. Michelle White says from LinkedIn, I understand his desire to return to being daddy. Carrying all those titles would be draining. Who should take the lead? I honestly don't know. Yes, optics may unfortunately come in, but I wonder if they are ready for a female leader. Well, they've had two. They've had to. I don't think it's a matter of being ready for a female leader. It's about having the best leader. So, I could be wrong, but they've had two women lead the OBA already. So I definitely don't think it's a matter of gender as so much race. Um, DeCudo says Dr. Anthony Richardson. He believes Dr. DeCudo should be the leader. We've got Michelle White says I should add if they don't choose either one of those persons already discussed, considering a woman. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says Dr. DeCudo does seem to be very accessible. Yeah, he does. Dr. Anthony Richardson says Michael Fay in the OBA cements PLP remaining in government. That's unfortunate, but I get it. I get it. It's unfortunate, but I completely understand it. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, your comment about recruiting a Mark Bean is an interesting one. Maybe an OBA FDM merger could emerge from this. I think it will be difficult because ideologically they don't align. I don't think they align. I think Mark Bean has values that he holds too dearly. And I think where the OBA is a bit, they want to be left, but they have they want to be the white liberal, but they have the black conservative. So you've got the liberal in terms of like LGBT with the whites in the party, but you have the conservative, the LGBT, and blacks like a Marcus Jones, right? So I think that's the tough part with like just saying Mark Bean joining a party like that. It's difficult. Like, who's going to compromise on their beliefs, on their ideology? Like, who's going to do it? That's the challenge. We've already seen from when constituency 36 was there for the taking. There was a lack of humility, and rightfully so. Madam Reverend Emily Gail Dill won twice in the space of 6 months, right? And she'll probably admit, look, if it was one-on-one, it would have been probably more challenging. But ego, right? Lack of humility. I think we're in agreement. I think in terms of who should lead the OBA, obviously we're not in the meetings. But again, when it comes to voting in general elections, we're not in the meetings either. But from the outside looking in, I would definitely say Dr. Douglas DeCudo. He seems like the right person. But I think it would be wise, because I believe Ben Smith is the deputy leader, right? So I think that's why people are saying, well, Ben Smith. But I think it would probably be wise to refresh altogether. And if the OBA were really smart in trying to pick the best people, I would probably choose the people who are most engaging with the public. And I would go for a leader in Dr. DeCudo and deputy leader in Dwayne Robinson. Dwayne Robinson is, I just don't like the term as he's young, but he's connected with a younger group of people. And I believe he has what it takes to, bring people on board and change the narrative. The challenge with that is, I think, what people continue to think when it comes to Black leaders in these spaces, thinking that they're there to be used, right? I think someone said, Sir John said it, yeah, they may have used me, but I used them too. I'll tell anyone, when you go to work, your company is likely making millions, if not billions, off of your head. They're using you, but you're also using them for a living. The unfortunate term, the term "use" sounds bad, but it's a transaction. It's a transaction, right? And you've got to figure out whether this transaction is in the best interest of yourself, your conscience, your family, and your community. You've got to figure that out. So Black members of the One Bermuda Alliance have got to figure out whether this transaction is in my best interest. What can I get out of this? Yeah, we've got Monroe Smith says, you're certainly spot on about the OBA and many white Bermudians able to address race in its proper historical and current context. Actually, the OBA still represent that racist colonial mentality. Unfortunately, some feel that way, and they have to confront it. They have to confront it. Emily Gail Dill, Reverend Dill says, Robin Tucker has the potential to be a game changer. I absolutely like her. I like her. I like her demeanor. I'm just saying, based on our conversations, she seems like she's a straight shooter. She's about getting the work done for the people. She seems very, it's almost like her and Mr. Richardson. There are certain constituencies where I wish both people could have won. That's one. Misha Fubler and Dwayne Robinson's another one. Like, it's certain places I'm like, we could have benefited. And I know you all feel the same way. That, man, I wish both of them could have won. I don't think she would be a bad choice. I think she'd be refreshing. The OBA has work to do. There was an article, a piece in the paper by Taj, Don Villatobridge, and Teray Toll last week. And I'd encourage people to read it. It will help you understand why we need a proper functioning opposition party. We're going to do the Daily Hour news break with Simone. But prior to that, let's show some love to Titan Express and Secure for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis.
The Daily Discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
Alrighty, thank you all so much for rocking with us. If you're tuned in on stream, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, or Instagram, do us a big favor. Take this time to give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. You know, what I realized, right? There was this post the other day, right? And it said, I'll have to find it on my phone and I'll share it on my social media. But you've all seen it over the years. It's like supporting a friend's business, liking something, sharing costs you $0. I realize I run tests on people. I will send you something via WhatsApp and see how much you support it. And I'm okay if you don't. I'm okay. But it just tells me a lot about people. Folks, it costs nothing to show love. Help us beat the algorithm so that as many people as you know who like community conversations can have access to these as well. Let's go to Simone for the Daily Hour news break.
Good morning, Bermuda. Today's news is brought to you by People's Pharmacy. It's cup match time in Bermuda. Are you Team Somerset or St. George's? No matter your colors, People's Pharmacy has your holiday must-haves for healthy skincare, fun water and beach activities, and of course, our cup match t-shirts in 2 styles this year for that winning look. Well, if you pick the right colors, that is. Starting off with today's news, we have a sensitive update from the Bermuda Police Service regarding a road collision that occurred last Thursday. Sadly, the 16-year-old male involved in the accident succumbed to his injuries. This marks the 5th road fatality this year. The other individual involved was not harmed. Authorities are continuing to investigate, and anyone with information is encouraged to reach out to the Bermuda Police Service. Up next, we have several ministerial updates from the government. First, TOYA, the Office of Youth Affairs, released a statement about their work regarding the youth of Bermuda. TOYA has been actively engaging Bermuda's youth through zone-in and zone-out sessions. These sessions allowed students to express concerns about mental health, financial literacy, and trust in adults, and to propose solutions. The feedback collected informs policy and programming such as the National Youth Policy and upcoming conferences. The minister commended the students, participating schools, and the TOYA Youth Development Team for their dedication In another update, the Honorable Michael A. Weeks recently highlighted the government's commitment to the National Violence Reduction Strategy through the distribution of over $540,000 in grants to community-based organizations. These funds support sports clubs, youth mentorship programs, educational initiatives, and community services that address violence prevention, intervention, and rehabilitation. The grants aim to reduce youth and gang violence by fostering resilience, offering positive alternatives, and addressing root causes like mental health and access to education. This last update comes from the Minister Jason Hayward. He presented the Wage Commission's reduction to increase Bermuda's statutory minimum hourly wage to $17.13, effective September 1st, 2025. This adjustment, based on average inflation rates from 2023 and 2024, aims to ensure a fair, livable wage for workers, particularly those in the service and sales sectors. The increase aligns with intentional labor standards and seeks to reduce poverty and reliance on social safety nets. The Commission also recommends reviewing the minimum wage every 2 years, enabling sustainable economic planning for both businesses and households. For the weather today, we're looking at a high of 84 degrees and a low of 82, with the highest temperature peaking around 5 to 6 p.m. Chance of precipitation is currently at 25%. That's all for the news break today. My name is Simone Vaughn, and thanks for tuning in.
Alrighty, thanks so much for that, Simone. Folks, days of the year, and first off, I want to just send warm thoughts and to the family of the 16-year-old who was lost last week in a road fatality. We don't love to report that, share that, but this is our reality. So just wrap the community arms around the family and loved ones of the individual. Real quickly, it is in the U.S. It's your days of the year today. It's Junk Food Day, National Junk Food Day. So I guess the question to all of you: what is your favorite junk food? What's your favorite junk food? I'm gonna say potato chips and French fries. Well, I'm just gonna say potatoes that are fried. Fried potatoes. I'm gonna say French fries and potato chips. I'm gonna say potatoes, and probably candy. And I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna let you all shame yourselves. But okay, we've got sour candy. Sour candy. Kristen Souza says sour candy. Hadley and Swan says yeast popcorn. Yeast popcorn. What else? Come on. Don't act like you all like eat fruits and vegetables straight out of your gardens. Like what is your junk food? Don't be like that. Do not be like that. Because I just told you, fried potatoes. That's what I do. And candy. We've got popcorn, says Traveling Trotty. We've got chocolate, says Kristen Souza. We've got cookies, custard cream cookies, Dr. Anthony Richardson. We've got chocolate chip cookies, says Michelle White. Okay, so chips, candy, cookies, yep. Chocolate and popcorn, says Nicole Walker. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says honey barbecue chips, weakness. Okay, all right. We've got ginger snap cookies, Michelle White. Okay, what else, audience? Come on now. I know you. Stacey Ann Brown, we're aligned. The fries. Folks, French fries, man. You know what's annoying when you're trying to be healthy, and someone comes around you and they got a big old order of fries. I did good yesterday. I went to this restaurant this weekend in Atlanta. It's called Kitchen and Cocktails or something, and it's like a Southern food joint. And you know how when you're young and you visit the U.S. and you see an American get like remember they had the biggie size, or what's it called? Like upper size. They get that number 4 Big Mac meal and they'll up the size, right? So they have this Big Mac and they have this large, extra large order of fries. And then they'll say, and a Diet Coke. Remember those days? I was like, well, why are they getting a Diet Coke if they're getting all that? Well, I get it now. I get it, because while I had my fried chicken at this Southern restaurant yesterday, instead of getting fries, I got cornbread and greens. Yeah. I felt less guilty. So I get why folks would get the Diet Coke now. All right, that's my point. All right, junk food. We've got chili cheese fries, Dr. Anthony Richardson. We've got Manuela John says honey cheese curls. We've got Karen Simmons says gingerbread with the sticky top and corners. Yeah. We've got fruit popsicles, says Emily Gill. Well, she's still got the fruit. Yeah, she's got the fruit in there. Suzanne Ingham says chips, french fries, popcorn, ice cream, especially in the winter. It doesn't melt. Yummy in my tummy. Sherbet in summer. Man, how could I forget ice cream? Well, I put myself on an ice cream diet because I eat dairy-free ice cream, like coconut and cashew ice cream. But I haven't had some in months. Folks, don't forget, before we take this break real quickly, don't forget, come see us at Medical House on Wednesday, July 23rd. We'll be there from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We've got giveaways. We'll be giving you some cash to shop while you're there. Well, not all of you, some of you. Right? We'll be giving some of you cash, the first folks to arrive. So come check us out. We'll be giving you some things and come engage with us. Let us know how you feel in person. All right? Medical House, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Am I going to see any of you? I hope so. All right. Check you in a bit. We've got very intelligent Bermudian, Ywione Darrell. Coming up, we're going to be talking about the academic journal they're putting together. So stick with us. We'll be back after this.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
"96 degrees, real hot, oh yes."
Summer's heating up, but your home, it can chill. BAC is turning down the heat with 20% off Carrier X-Power mini split AC units. They're sleek, whisper quiet, and smart, thanks to energy-saving inverter technology. New install, upgrade, doesn't matter. Just don't miss out. For a limited time, get 20% off when you pay with cash, credit, or debit.
96 degrees, real hot.
Swing by BAC on Mill Creek Road today.
Bermuda holidays are a time when we celebrate our community, traditions, and the beauty of Bermuda. HSBC is deeply rooted in the community and proud once again to be the lead sponsor of Cup Match. Somerset! St. George's! Whether you're heading east to watch Cup Match in person or spending time camping, boating, swimming, or simply relaxing, no matter which team you choose, Cup Match is one of the most spectacular and energizing events, bringing the entire island together in celebration of Emancipation Day and Mary Prince Day. Wishing all of Bermuda a happy Cup Match from HSBC, and may the best team win.
Somerset!
St. George's! HSBC, opening up a world of opportunity.
Take a look at our walkway for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast, so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Alrighty, welcome to Cup Match Selection Night.
Oh, my favorite time of the year, man.
I'm excited. I am excited.
So hoop is an amazing thing.
It was so difficult.
You feel the anticipation on the porches, you hear all the banter.
The last man to lead St. George's to a Cup Match victory. Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and a big thank you to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we are able to pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Also, come see us at Medical House this Wednesday, July 23rd. We'll be there from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We'll have giveaways. We'll get you ready for Cup Match 2025. And do not forget, as you just saw, we have Cup Match Selection Night coming up this Saturday. We will have some giveaways. Then we'll likely be giving away tickets to the game, but also find out who makes the team. Engage with former Cup Match legends, Stephen Outerbridge and Lionel Can, also engaging with one half of the Voice of Summer, Jason Ford. We'll have folks out at both grounds throughout the night, engaging with club officials, players, coaches, and the likes. So very engaging. If you've never seen Cup Match Selection Night, you do not want to miss it. Proudly brought to you by HSBC. All right, without further ado, let's bring in our very special guest today. We've got Ywione Darrell. We're talking about an academic journal, folks. You know, in a community where we all feel like there's a lack of intellect, it's so refreshing to have a young person come on and discuss something like this. Let's give a warm TDH welcome to Mr. Darrell. All right. Greetings, Ywione. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming by. Thank you for coming by. I'm going to ask before, because I've been asking people after. Ywione, who's your Cup Match team?
St. George's, blue and blue.
You're a good man. You're a good man. Let me get that air horn for you. Yeah. Folks, please don't judge him. Let's be, a good audience, and let's not send him any hate comments or views, because we've got the president of Summers, got showing his colors this morning. But I'm sure he'll be, a gentleman and show you some love, Ywione. Well, Ywione, thank you for stopping by. And again, another question before we get into it: what is your favorite junk food?
I think I'm gonna have to go for curly fries.
Curly fries, okay.
Like I know you said fries, but like I had to be specific on curly fries specifically.
Yeah, man, I don't discriminate with potatoes. I'm gonna take steak. I'm gonna take string. I'm gonna take waffle cut. I fried potatoes and man, look, yeah. But curly fries, I like me a curly fry. So you got me there. Now we have to stop talking about fries, because I'm trying to drink my water and eat my fruit today. I don't want to have to go without any fries, young one. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you for trusting this platform. So you guys are working on such an exciting milestone right now. You're working on a Bermuda journal, academic journal. Speak to us about first off, what is an academic journal, and where did the idea for this come from?
Yeah. So, an academic journal is basically a platform where individuals can do extensive research on a specific topic, and then they can submit it to the journal so that it can get published, so that other individuals can read it. The idea of this it's a joint idea by myself, Ywione, and my co-founder Kaeda Lantier. We're both, she's going into doing her master's in psychology at Columbia University after just finishing at Western in Canada. Myself, I'm an economics for development student at or just finished at the University of Oxford. But last summer we just came up with this idea because, well, I can only speak really to my own personal motivations, but Kaeda's are quite similar in the sense that we both felt that there was a need to bring this sort of intellectual discussion to Bermuda. With many of the things I sort of try to involve myself in, I found it a very personal motivation for me, as I think that it's not just about intellectual discussion, but also the benefits that you get from having uh, more discussion around key issues in Bermuda, and then giving another way of making Bermudians feel tied to the island by knowing that they can meaningfully engage with it.
Mhm. Audience, if you have any questions or comments for Yai1, please send them through. I was actually speaking to someone, one of my intellectual friends, this weekend, and they were just speaking to me about they believe like a lot of the things that we encounter in Bermuda, things like even like the collisions on our roads, is down to intellect. It's down to a lack of intelligence, people not understanding simple physics and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's a way to put it. But in saying that, and that friend saying that to me, it got me thinking as I prepared for this show with you. Um, why is an academic journal like this important, and how do you see it contributing to our intellectual, cultural, and educational landscape?
So, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go as far as your friend on that point there with saying that, the reason why road accidents happen is because of, a lack of intellect. But I would say that issues like that and similar sort of issues when you talk about things like gang violence, my personal area of research is sort of inequality and in like a very macroeconomic sense. A lot of these issues require you to do a deep dive into.
Mhm.
And so, for example, my master's dissertation was on this thing called the Dutch disease, which is this economic phenomenon where you have a booming export sector, in our case, international business. And I was looking at how that affects the rising price levels as well, and how it can also affect things like inequality.
Mhm.
But you also have other researchers like Franco Harris, who's also at Oxford doing his DPhil, who is looking at the dynamics of gang violence in Bermuda. And so a lot of these things can be then used when you go into deep research to then go ahead and inform policy discussion, which is something that's very important in a place like Bermuda as a
Mhm.
small island developing state because of the fact that a lot of policy
Mhm.
just in general across small island developing states tends to be driven by people who are sort of closer to sort of power, or people who are
Mhm.
closer to accessing platforms where they can voice their opinions. And
Mhm.
so this provides a way of people not necessarily of merit sort of
Mhm.
determining what policies get put forth. And that's sort of my own personal sort of way of looking at it.
Yeah, I like what you said just now. It's like who it's driven by and who it's usually driven by. So I agree with Dr. Anthony Richardson here, and these young people should be congratulated for bringing this journal into being. Excellent, and congratulations. Wishing you the very best as you move forward. Um, you're hosting a cover art competition. What
Yes.
inspired this idea to involve the visual arts in an academic publication? And how can local artists actually get involved?
Well, it was actually an idea that sort of came from our marketing team, and so that's headed up by Olivia Washington, but it also has Laura Backerberg and Darian, Darian. I can't remember his last name. Sorry, Darian. Um, but the the whole idea is that we don't want the thing with typical academic journals is that you you're just focused on presenting the research, but
Mhm.
the idea behind this was that we wanted to give this the feel of Bermuda, the look and feel of Bermuda, right? And so um, the you have the natural beauty of Bermuda, but we also want to also show off the cultural aspects of our island as well as how those blend quite meaningfully and well with research and discovery and those sorts of themes. And I mean, a personal example that we've sort of kept hearing as we've been going through this process is the example of like Erwin Trott and how he sort of has this collaboration with university in the U.S. As they're going through as they're looking at like the history of gumbes and like the
Mhm.
importance of that for our culture. So art and culture and academia and discovery all can blend well together quite well,
Mhm.
and we thought that this cover art was a way of showing Bermuda in the journal, not just in the words written in each article, but also in the form and
Mhm.
in almost every way.
Indeed. Thank you for that. Um, who's eligible? Who's eligible to submit the artwork for the cover? Are there specific themes or messages you're hoping the art will reflect?
Yeah. So the main theme I would say is this blending of culture and research and Bermuda's vibrancy and beauty.
Mm.
In terms of eligibility, anyone can submit anything.
Mhm.
The whole idea is that we want photographers, we want artists, people who paint. If you're drawing, it can literally be anything,
Mhm.
um, and we want to make it inclusive because once again, that's that's the whole idea behind this.
Mhm.
My whole personal sort of motivation behind this is this idea of making Bermudians feel less disillusioned from the island, and that does not just mean by creating this new separate sect of Bermudian culture that is just a bunch of technocrats or people
Mhm.
who have Oxford or Cambridge or one of the Ivy League schools level of education. It's about making people, no matter what walk of life they're in, feel included in Bermuda, and that sort of speaks to who's eligible to submit to the cover art competition and the types of pieces we're looking for.
Got it. Beyond the art competition, what kinds of research, writing, and academic contributions are you hoping to attract, and how can people submit their work that way?
Okay. So the we're a multidisciplinary journal. We do add this. We're having a peer reviewed section, which is your typical standard research journal. If you look at any economics, uh, psychology, or anything, any journal of that nature, that's the typical format that you have. But we're adding an additional layer of what we call our aspiring researchers section. And the whole ethos behind this is that, once again, we want your average day Bermudian to think that research is something that is accessible and it should not be something that they're scared of.
Mhm.
And this is not just for your average Bermudian, but also people who may be wanting to put forth like working papers or put forward uh, research proposals, things of that nature. The Once again, we want to put these out in a space
Mhm.
where these aspiring research pieces are not going to be peer reviewed, but the good thing is that they're going to be put forth in a space
Mhm.
where if I'm reading for something in the peer reviewed section, I come across this, I think it's interesting, I get in contact with that person, and then all of a sudden I start wanting to develop this rapport with them so that we can potentially put something together that's a bit more formal.
Love it. We've got some questions from the audience. We've got Mark Arthur C. Phillips. He's asking, will the article on this platform be behind a paywall?
No, we are doing open access. So then not open access in the sense that you have to be with an institution that pays, but open access in the sense that just go into our website. So our website is bermudajournal.com.
Mhm.
Uh, and sorry, .org. And once you go in there, you can simply access our. You can see who our team is. You can see how to access. We have a nice little Google Forms in there, so you can access the submission links and the cover art submission links. And in the future, when the first edition goes up, that will also be the website you go to access our first edition.
All righty. We've got Charles H. Jefferson II. He says, love this idea. Who can submit articles for the journal? You answered that already. Bermudians and non-Bermudians. Do you have to be a resident in Bermuda? Will this be a printed journal? How often?
Thank you for that question. So I'll start off with in terms of locals versus non-locals. My mindset is that we want we want everyone to submit, literally Bermudian and non-Bermudian. And this is one of the this is a key reason for this is that not only do we want Bermudians to feel empowered to sort of, produce their own research, but if you ask any economist or any trade economist, they'd always say the world's better outside of autarky. And that just means that if we engage with the world and allow people from overseas to engage with us in this academic journal, we can also grow our intellectual capacity on island. So we're open to, letting people from outside of Bermuda submit papers. I can't remember the last bit of that question. Sorry.
Yeah, I just asked, will it be printed? How
Oh,
often?
yeah. So with respect to printing, um, right now we're thinking of only doing online. The thing is that printing obviously requires funding, and this is a new initiative, so we want to sort of get our feet planted before we and get an idea of what the demand is and stuff like that. But uh, having said that, we are planning on doing this as an annual endeavor
Mm,
for the moment. But
okay. Mark Arthur C. Phillips is asking, is there an academic journal that your journal will emulate?
so we have quite a bit of inspiration from a bunch of different journals. So um, the there's this one journal, online journal called Renewal that we took a lot of inspiration from. Uh, it sort of has a similar sort of uh, online format, very accessible.
Mm,
Um, but we haven't come across any journals in our research that have done this sort of peer review, non-peer review section, this established researchers with experience alongside, your aspiring researchers section. And part of
mm,
that may speak to the sort of culture of academia where, if I'm spending a lot of these research projects take millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes to sort of
mm,
complete, um, depending on the project. So you may not necessarily want to be uh, in the same journal as someone who's
mm.
not peer reviewed. But we don't necessarily see that as an issue. We see it as something that can be encouraging and beneficial to the local dialogue.
All right. Rosalind Famous says, I'd love to see some academic research done on linguistics of Bermudian English. Well, here's real quickly. I tweeted this weekend. I was watching a Coney game and I said, man, is it me or do older Bermudians pronounce Robinson, like put a G in there? But yeah, your thoughts on that?
No, I this reminds me very much of that. I think it was a couple of years ago. The Oxford Dictionary sort of started including some Bermudian lingo as official words, and I think that is a really cool thing. And I've been hearing echoes and stuff like that about people doing that for their master's dissertations and things like that. So these are all things that we would love to see included in the journal and love for people to submit. So yes.
Alrighty. Dr. Anthony Richardson asking, will you notify universities about the existence of your journal?
Yes, we will. So I have already sorry, not published, bothered my department at Oxford that I have this research journal, and I've sort of pestered them on and on. It's like, get the word out, get the word out, get the word out. Um, we're also thinking of reaching out to our Caribbean cousins at the University of West Indies, and then also along the to sort of strengthen those regional ties, but then also to we've also been engaging with entities like the college and um, universities and academic institutions that the executive team are affiliated with.
All right. And before you head out, lastly, how can we, the community, the greater from students to scholars to everyday readers, how can we help you achieve your vision? And where can people go to, support your efforts in writing this journal?
So you can find us on Instagram at Research Research PDA. You can also find us on LinkedIn at just look up Bermuda Journal of Academic Research. And then you can obviously visit our website at bermudajournal.org. The ways I would say you can help us is in three key ways. One, get the word out, get the word out, get the word out. And then the second two is that if you are willing to sort of engage more sufficiently, I would say that submit a piece of work. If you're not, you know, a well-established researcher, it's fine. We have our aspiring researchers section. We've created it for people like you, so please engage with it. And then second, if you have a little, art bug on you and you want to just try something out, go ahead and submit to our cover art. And we would love to, review it and give you your best shot of being included in the artwork of the journal.
Yeah, Ywione, thank you so much. So much is said about young Black males that's not positive, and I think people like yourself, give us hope that there's a lot more positive than we think. So thank you for the work that you and your team are doing, and we look forward to supporting it and seeing the results of your work. So thank you for trusting our platform, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, Ywione Darrell, folks, if you appreciated that conversation, whatever platform you may be streaming on, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, please do us a favor. Give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We can't talk about positivity and not support it. Folks, do not go anywhere. We've got some Cup Match trivia coming up after this, and then I'll let you go about your day. Stick with us. Alrighty, welcome to Cup Match Selection Night.
Oh, my favorite time of the year, man.
I'm excited. I am excited.
So hope is an amazing thing. It was so difficult.
You feel the anticipation on the porches, you hear all the banter.
The last man to lead St. George's to a Cup Match victory.
Considering the increasing challenges faced by financial institutions, the need for insurance protection is a critical component of the risk management framework. At Friesenbrook, our priority is to safeguard your assets with the most optimal, cost-effective risk management cover to help protect your business, whether it be cyber, directors and officer liability, professional indemnity, or property insurance. Call us on 296-3600 to learn more about our full suite of competitive corporate insurance products. At Friesenbrook, we provide insurance you can count on.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda business starts here.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazoc Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Ywione Darrell and his group for the work that they're doing, folks. Again, if you haven't already, it costs you nothing if you're on stream, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. These conversations take place live with you and give you the opportunity to engage and really support young people who are trying to make a positive difference in our community. I am grateful for Ywione and his team, and let's help them. Let's support them. Help us beat the algorithm by sharing these conversations with your friends, your family, and your colleagues. Alrighty, folks. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations. It is now time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Bermuda Trivia. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, audience, are you ready? It is Cup Match Trivia today. Bermuda Cup Match Trivia. All right, let's see how much you all know. Clarence Parfitt is one of 2 men to have at least 100 wickets in Cup Match. Who is the other? You know, folks, Bermuda Trivia is sold at People's Pharmacy. It's sold at various stores in Bermuda. Bermuda Trivia was created to ensure that those who love Bermuda and Bermudians know as much as they can. It was not Clyde Bess. It was not Dennis Wainwright. It was not Colin Blades. It was not Noel Gibbons. It was not Chick Adams. It was not Mr. Millett, but it was Alex Steed. Thank you, Stacey Ann Brown. Get yourself Bermuda Trivia. Trust me, it's a fun game. The answer is Alex Steed. Both Clarence Parfitt and Alex Steed are the only 2 to have at least 100 wickets in Cup Match history. All right, you learned something new today. Hold that with you. When we ask this question, Cup Match selection night, you'll have the answer, right? All of you. But go get yourself Cup Match selection, Cup Match trivia today. Go buy it. Save a bottle of rum. Don't buy that rum. Don't buy your favorite junk food. Go get Bermuda Trivia Cup Match edition. You'd be surprised what you can learn in that edition. Have fun with it. Alrighty. Let's wrap it up. So we discussed the One Bermuda Alliance leadership thing this morning, huh? I'll say this much. The OBA have one thing. They may have time on their side, because I highly doubt that the Premier of Bermuda is going to call an election anytime soon. So they may have time on their side, but they have to get it right in selecting the right leader. That's number one. Number two, they have to confront the legacy that they are tied to. No matter what face you put in front. You know, I said recently, whenever you see a Black person or a woman appointed as a CEO, dig deeper and see what that board looks like. See who's on the board, because then it will tell you about the true intent. And that's how people see the leadership of the One Bermuda Alliance. They see it, okay, that's the person in front, but who's pulling the strings? You've got to confront that legacy. You've got to. Because in 2025, for young Black people who never outside of 5 years experienced the UBP OBA, to be that afraid that they're willing to put up with what we have as government now, that's scary. It's in your hands, but you've got to confront it. So whoever the leader is, that person needs to be courageous enough to say, we have to take this next step. Yes, we will continue to pound the pavement about education, about crime, about healthcare, about the economy. but we'll also confront the legacy that we're attached to. As far as the conversation with Ywione, I am impressed and I am encouraged. And I look forward to community participation and the result of the work. We need to get behind folks. We need to get behind folks. We really do, especially when they're doing good work within our community. All right, folks, here's your daily inspiration. Don't become so obsessed with your political and religious beliefs that you forget to be a decent person. Also, please don't forget to subscribe on our website and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of the daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. Do not forget, come check us out. Put it in your calendar. Medical House on Wednesday, the 23rd of July from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Come shop with us. Come hang out. Get your cut match towels, your mugs. We'll be there. I'm Jamal Hartman. Folks, please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.